it all behind you. I said, take down everything that stands in your way. Don't stop believing it'll work out again, my friend. Stand out and be a part of everything good. Wake up, you're gonna be all that you should. Try out all the things you always wanted to be. You'll see, 'cause I know what I know, that you've got it in you, and I see that you are a winner.
You have to pardon the glasses. I was just outside and they get really dark, so it's kind of funny. But I have a couple messages from Ash Aurore, A-U-R-O-R-E, and I would like to address a couple things that this person has written to me. This was under a video I did quite a long time ago, 2015, okay, 2 years ago. Almost exactly 2 years ago, my version of the 10 Commandments. I'm not going to look at my video, but apparently I must sound extremely angry and hateful, because that's what she writes, or he. I can't tell from the name what the gender of this person is. You talk about Christians being hateful and the Bible being harmful, but there is so much contempt and anger in your videos toward those of faith. Rather than just posting videos about your life and what you enjoy, which, ooh, I'm sorry, side note, wouldn't that just be so interesting? I'm sure everybody would just be so interested in my boring, mundane, ordinary life. Okay, end of parentheses. You feel you gotta, that's what she says, gotta. You feel you gotta call out Christians constantly. Ooh, there's my evil voice. See, I'm being evil because, oh, I'm so contemptuous and angry. And then we're going to get personal now by invoking my first name, like we're buddies or something. D, or this actually comes across very condescending. D, I would honestly bet my life that you are more hateful than just about any Christians in this world. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Do I get a gold star? You know, everybody needs to have a skill, but not only do I have this amazing skill, but I'm more hateful than anybody in the world. Okay, I will read my reply because probably that would be the easiest way to say anyway, I wrote her quite a few comments, but okay. My first comment, my knee-jerk reaction to her comment. You bet I feel contempt. Hateful! Utter and complete contempt, disgust, and anger at what I see the Christian cult doing to innocent people's lives. I feel exactly the same level of contempt as I do toward bigotry, racism, sexism, Nazism, etc. My life was almost destroyed by this cult, and I am still, even after 9 years of being an atheist, suffering the scars this cult left in my life. You don't think I have a right to feel anger and contempt? Really? Side note, this isn't something I wrote, but this is something that I thought of after I posted this comment. If somebody was in a concentration camp put there by the Nazis, starved and tortured and barely managed to survive the ordeal and still be alive after, and, you know, they lost everything. They lost their home, they lost their family, they lost their possessions. They were treated like animals, or worse than animals, because I'm sorry, most people don't treat animals the way the Jews were treated in the concentration camps. Would you criticize that person for feeling anger and contempt toward the Nazis who did that to them? So why would this person attack a survivor of 35 plus years of the Christian cult, which is what I am? They are not only criticizing my honest feelings that I try to be honest in how I feel in everything. They're criticizing me for being honest, but they're also implying that I don't have a right to the feelings that I have. And that kind of annoys me, because they don't have any clue what damage this cult caused to my life, or the disappointments it caused in my life. The false hopes, the false promises, the false dreams. I think the most bitter one of all was losing my hope to see my dad again in heaven. Oh yeah, I had that since I was 6 years old, that hope. Clung to it. Not only did I cling to it, but it affected how I grew up. I actually resisted growing up, because I wanted to be, I wasn't done being my daddy's little girl when my father died. I wanted more of that. I wanted to have the experience of growing up and having a father, and having my dad see all the stages of my life. So as I got older, it was really hard, because I realized as I got older that I would never again be, even if I saw my dad again in heaven, I wouldn't be his little girl anymore. I'd be bigger. I'd be an adult. And then when I got older, when I oh my God, on my 42nd birthday, that was horrible, because I was his same age. The age he was when he died. And then when I started getting older than my father, it really destroyed my imagining of what that reunion would be like, with me, his little girl, running and flinging my arms around him and having him lift me up and swing me around and put me on his shoulders. All these stupid things that I imagined as a child when I would finally see my dad again. I couldn't even do any of that, because I was older than he was now. I was an adult. So this was a lot of stress and pain in my life, just caused by the fact that I believed one day I would see my dad again in heaven. And I tried to cling to my childhood and cling to being small. I hated the fact that I was tall. I hated the fact that I was big and tall, not a little girl anymore. All these things that, I mean, these are just scratching the surface of the damage that Christianity and false dreams and false hopes did in my life. But you know, to judge somebody that you don't even know based on a few videos, I'm sure she didn't watch all of them, because I have some really boring ones in my whatever videos that I've done. I know I've done ones of my animals. I know I've done ones. I think this is really bad English too, but I didn't sleep last night, so I know I've done ones. But I know I've talked about my life in videos. I know I have. So I have done that. And this person acts like I haven't, and all I do is bitch and moan about Christianity. And I try not to bitch and moan about Christians, although I have attacked Christians who have attacked me. I have done rebuttal type videos, or this is what so-and-so says. In fact, this is kind of what I'm doing in this video. I'm responding to this note that this person wrote me. But yeah, I think I have a right to feel anger and contempt. It's really very upsetting to find out when you're older that you've been lied to for a huge chunk of your life, and you've built your life around lies and false perceptions and all this guilt that you've carried around. Oh my gosh, I'm such, you know, if I don't pray and ask for forgiveness, and just existing is a sin. Just being born is a sin. Just constantly feeling like I'm never good enough. I mean, just things like this cult destroyed my self-esteem. I had a hard time with self-esteem anyway, because I wasn't born beautiful. I was one of the people that missed out on a whole lot of things in my life because I wasn't born beautiful. How many jobs have I lost in my life because I'm not? I mean, if I went to a job interview and there was an attractive woman at that same job interview, and we had the same qualifications straight across the board, who do you suppose got the job? That's the kind of thing that plain people have to deal with their whole lives. So I had that anyway, the difficulty of living as a plain person, not being the one picked first for teams, not being the one asked to dance at dances, not getting a lot of Valentines in my box when I was a little child, all these things, you know, just the fact that I'm not gorgeous. I grew up plain. I had to deal with all the things, you know, all little girls have the same hopes, whether they're plain or beautiful. They all have the same hopes. But when you're plain, you just don't get all the same things. You miss out. And it's hard. It's hard to have a self-esteem. It's hard to find yourself and believe in yourself and come to love yourself. But when you have a belief system that on top of that is telling you that you're really worth nothing, that your loving Father in heaven will throw you in the trash heap if you don't jump through all the right hoops, that you're basically worth nothing to this so-called loving God in heaven unless you jump through all the right hoops. It's very hard when you already have a low self-esteem, or when you already are struggling, to have that on top of it. So yes, I do think that I have a right to feel the feelings that I feel. And what also really annoys me is if a Christian is angry and contemptuous, they look at that as righteous wrath. They look at a Christian attacking an atheist as a good, positive thing. And any anger or contempt that the Christian demonstrates, that's righteous wrath for Jesus. But if the atheist demonstrates annoyance or anger or contempt or disgust or anything, that's bad and negative, and oh, you're such a hateful, horrible person for simply reacting to having your rights trampled on, basically, you know. And that's what it is. You're walking down the street, you're sitting on the bus, you're in the library, you're wherever, and some Christian comes up to you and says, hey, do you know Jesus? Like there's something wrong with you if you don't, or you're broken if you don't, or you need to be fixed. They need to fix you and make you right. They need to make you just like them. And it's like they're not satisfied with you, and they don't accept you for who you are until you believe just like them. And it is invasive and it's insulting. Their assumption that their beliefs are right and everybody else's beliefs, your beliefs, are wrong. Oh, you're being led astray. Oh, Satan is whispering in your ear. Oh, you're just blind. No, you really believe in God. You're just in denial because you love to sin so much. These are all very offensive things to hear, and that's the kind of things Christians dish out to anybody who doesn't buy into their stupid little bullshit that is proven by nothing. They have nothing to back any of it up. And yet we're the bad people if we don't. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Here, let me say the magic words and become just like you. There. Now I'm all better. You can add one to your little quota or whatever. Yeah, it is kind of intrusive, and it does make atheists upset. But oh, if we get upset, if we get sick of it, if we start to feel anger or contempt, or if we see, you know, the contempt part comes for me when I see vulnerable people targeted. That's when I start to really get angry and contemptuous, is when I see Christianity going after children and after school programs, or going after depressed people, you know, that, oh, here we have a special Christian counseling for all you depressed Christians. Yeah, because we want to make sure that you don't, in your depression, go looking for answers in the wrong places. That's what happened to me. I went looking for answers in the wrong places, and now I'm an atheist. So, it's okay for Christians to be angry, and it's okay for Christians to be contemptuous, and it's okay for Christians to corner atheists and attack atheists' beliefs. But it isn't the other way around. It's not okay for atheists to show anger or contempt or attack Christians for their beliefs. Oh, no. You need to show respect for the Christians' beliefs. Oh, but we'll hear any number of horrible things said about atheists, and that's okay. So then I got another comment from this person I wanted to share. Explain how you determine Christian cult. No one is perfect, Christian or not Christian, but you act like every Christian on this earth is evil and harming other people. It makes no sense. I'm not very religious myself, but I do have a strong faith in God and Jesus. I've experienced quite a bit in my life that has led me to having my beliefs, which I feel are backed up solidly by fulfilled prophecy. Yeah. And other aspects of the Bible. Just describe this cult experience and this type of perception, if you'd like. You don't have to, I'm just curious. First of all, any fulfilled prophecy, from what I understand, a lot of the prophecies were written after the events had happened. Or if you were, let's imagine that you were some guy who wanted to be seen as the predicted son of God. You would look in the Bible and go, okay, well, according to this, the Son of Man is going to do this and this and this. Well, I'm going to do those things so people believe that I'm him. I mean, who's to say that people don't do that? They do that now. We have people trying to fulfill prophecy by just, okay, well, or you can read into anything. Jesus isn't the only one, although I don't believe that Jesus ever existed at all. But the cult put him together, and they put him together in such a way to make it seem like he fulfilled all the prophecies. Of course they did. So people would believe it, and they had it all written down. Well, we just have to have him do. He has to be this and this and this. Okay, there he is. So my response: what do cults do? They aggressively seek converts. They use brainwashing tactics. They encourage new converts to stay away from worldly music, books, or any media that disagrees with the cult. They use guilt tripping, bullying, and fear tactics on potential converts, or word manipulation, parentheses, see Ray Comfort's videos. They target the most vulnerable people, children, the elderly, the depressed, the addicted, the uneducated, and people in poor third world countries desperate for aid, parentheses, which is given with certain strings attached. They go door to door. They hand out tracts. They try to claim their alternative history is actual history. They try to control the life of the converts. They push the converts to give the cult money. They encourage and promote intolerance, which is why so many gays and atheist children find themselves being disowned by religious families the moment they come out. I look at a major religion like Judaism and I see none of these things. They do not seek converts. They do not pass out cults or target the vulnerable. Your cult acts more like a cult than a religion. Mormonism is a cult. How does Christianity act any differently than Mormonism? So that was my other response. So I guess I just feel like Christians deny atheists the right to feel and the right to be honest about their feelings. We're supposed to be quiet. If our lives were badly scarred by Christianity, well, we shouldn't say anything. We shouldn't point it out. We shouldn't express to others what this experience did to us. If we see other people going down the same path that we went down, being told the same things that we were told without any evidence backing it up, we're not supposed to warn them. We're not supposed to give them, hey, heads up, you know what, there's another way to look at this. Maybe you should research first before you get involved, which I never did. I never researched. I just believed hook, line, and sinker because they had a book. And they had some people with authoritative sounding voices. It's all it took for me to believe it. The fact that my mother believed it. And every adult I knew believed it, so it must be true. There was never the person who came along and said, you know, that's just something they tell little kids. No, they never do that with this. They do that with Santa Claus, but they didn't do that with this, which is the same thing, more or less, for adults. Oh, you know, if you're bad, you're going to go to hell. Oh, if you're bad, you're going to get a lump of coal. Anyway, I don't want this to turn out to be a really long video, but I defend my right to have anger. I defend my right to feel contempt. And I defend my right to want to speak out against what I see as a very evil thing in the world. It causes harm in people's lives. It causes harm in our society. Just look at the fact that Trump supporters, so many of them are Christians. I just saw an article about some televangelist guy who was predicting that if Trump gets impeached, the Christians are going to rise up and there'll be a new civil war. Christians who actually think Trump is a good thing for this country. And Christianity has been harmful to the planet. Oh, science isn't real. Oh, make science the enemy. Take science out of classrooms. Teach fables instead. Deny the fact that a huge, massive population of one species on this planet, not just a species living on this planet, but a species taking it over and destroying the natural part of this planet and replacing it with artificial. Oh, but that won't have any effect on the planet. No, we'll cover the planet with poisoned water and cement, but that won't affect the planet. No, it's just naturally having the climate change. This kind of denial. Let's just keep doing what we're doing because it's just a Chinese thing saying this whole thing about global warming is just made up. I'm sorry, I look at Christianity as continuing to harm the planet. Let's look for excuses to continue to use up this planet. Because you know what? It doesn't matter what we do to it. God's coming back any day, and he's going to take us off the planet. Or he's going to remake the planet just for us. Or we're just going to go to heaven, and who cares, what happens at that point to the planet. I'm sorry, the attitudes that are perpetuated by this religion, cult, whatever. To me, religion and cult are interchangeable, and I don't understand why Christians get so upset when their religion is called a cult, and yet they'll be happy to call Mormonism a cult. They throw that word out there when they're talking about other people's faith, but they sure don't like it when you apply that to theirs. I'm having a rant. I wasn't going to have a rant. I wasn't feeling ranty, but it kind of developed into a rant. I have a lot to be angry about right now. I'm seeing my country being destroyed every day, and I blame Christianity for that too. I feel worried about nuclear war again. I haven't had those worries, those thoughts for decades. Now I'm back to worrying about it again. Wondering if I'll get my book published finally before I get nuked. So I have a lot of anger in me just in general about a bunch of stuff. Not Christianity actually pales by comparison to some of the other things I feel angry about. And Islam is another thing. I try not to make videos about it, but I feel like in a way what's going on in America right now works in the favor of Islam, which upsets me, because now they can truly play the victim card because they have been persecuted in this country thanks to Donald Trump. They can play the victim card, which to me opens the door for things like Sharia law in America, which to me, we already have the Christian Taliban. It's really not much worse. And that's the other thing. Christianity's, I said this before in some of my videos, Christianity is paving the way for Islam's Sharia law in this country. We get used to it being okay and normal to squash women's rights and gay rights. When Sharia law comes around and they just do it a little bit more, it won't be such a huge change. It's just a little bit more of what we're already used to thanks to the Christian Taliban. Anyway, I'm obviously not scripted here. I'm just blathering because I'm a little annoyed and I wanted to vent. So if you've been watching, thanks. Bye.
I am absolutely convinced that the main source of hatred in the world is religion. And I think it should be religion treated with ridicule and hatred and contempt.